we've got this once in a lifetime insight into the swamp, courtesy of the recording of Carrie Lake, and how the sausage is really made. And what I want people to think about when they listen to this, don't think this is just Arizona. Chances are the state chairperson of your GOP operates under the same playbook. They answer to some beltway shadow group in DC that calls the shots. This is how you get money for your organizations. This is how you get money from the consultant class to run your commercials. And if you don't bend the knee, we're not going to support you. I know we've got a similar situation in New Mexico. I have to imagine before you had some upheaval in Colorado, it was the same way there. Folks,
still do.
Jeff DeWitt this is not just Jeff DeWitt. That's what I want people to understand. When you listen to this, these conversations are happening with your chairpersons across the country. And how do you know? Because none of them have come forward and expressly stated that 2020 was rigged. Get rid of the machines, get rid of the mail-in ballots. It's not good for their business. So with that, should we go ahead and play it?
Let's play it. Pay attention, guys. Pay attention. And share it.
Don't tell people.
They're going to try to have me murdered.
I wouldn't doubt that either. Today's world, man. If that stuff that came out last week is right about the cartel stuff, man. They said the cartel's operating in 50 states right now. Like all 50. You know? So
what's going on? Who is it? What?
Forget the who. Let me just tell you the what. Let's just say there are people calling around saying, gosh, no, they can't repeat this. Never repeat this. If you say no, don't. If you say, I got offered to buy out. Don't use it. Because then we lose our ability to get things done in the future.
Here's my problem. Rather than just say, let's work with her. She's a great candidate. Because they don't own me. And it pisses me off.
Yeah, I don't know it's about ownership.
It's about control.
I don't know if it's about control. It's about being on the team. I guess that's, you know what I mean?
They want to be on the team.
They want you to be on their team.
But
just team. You know?
But if they're pushing a globalist agenda, I can't do that. So what do they want? What do they want me to do?
You want to stay out for 2 years. But, I'll tell you what I can offer you. But, I said, you can do whatever you want. It's talking head, this and that. So, the ask of me was, it's kind of funny. So, the ask I got today from back east was, this has to stay between us. Is there any companies out there or something that could just put her on the payroll and give her, to keep her out? And I said, well, what are you willing to do? Like, whatever we need to do.
This is about defeating Trump. And I think that's a bad thing for our country. DeSantis is not America first. This is about the final death blow to Trump. And I don't think that's good for our country.
And you know I love Trump. I love Trump.
It's not good for our country, Jeff.
It's not. But at the same time, I'm not even sure Trump can win again. I don't know that he can win again. I think what it really comes down to for a lot of people, it's not really about like control or agenda. It's just about the ability to raise money to win. You know, if you really want to know, all of politics boils down to money. I think. I always believe that. And even on their end, like what makes them the most money?
I know. All these consultants don't want their payday to end. And I don't want to make a deal with these kind of people. This is a hill worth dying on. I'm not, if they're going to steal the election to make me and our movement go away, I'm not letting them do that. I owe it to the people of Arizona.
Or
to carry their torch and their voice.
Or you don't go away, but you pause.
This is the battles right now, Jeff.
You pause. And refill your coffers.
No, the battle is right now. The battle is right now, and we don't have time to pause on this battlefield.
You're not. You can't scratch their back. It's not afraid of you.
Yeah.
You don't have anything to offer them, and they're sitting around people that have something to offer them. You know what I mean? It's just it's a back scratching club. That's all DC is. It's a big back scratching club. you're in no position to scratch anybody's back, and you've already made it known that if you get there, you're not going to scratch anybody's back. I don't scratch people's back. You know, I've been on the outs with a lot of people for a long time because I don't scratch backs. You know, where are we in 2 years if they steal the election again?
Listen to what you're saying. Why don't we do something about it so that we the people can pick our...
What can we do?
I'm not willing to accept that. And I'm going to be the biggest pain in these people's... Go back and tell them that. I'm running, and I'm going to be the biggest pain in their...
I'm willing to tell them that.
And they're going to have to kill me to stop me.
I know. Look.
You don't have to tell them that, but I don't think they will, but...
I don't think that's the way they are.
Either they come around and try to work with me, or I'm just going to...
entail?
That would entail not telling... Layman's telling me, you got to distance yourself from Trump. No, you distance yourself from DeSantis.
He's all butthurt about that.
But what I'm saying is, don't tell people that. I'm with Trump, okay? I want to work for the betterment of Arizona. I'm not going to let these people back in D.C. tell me not to run.
I'm telling you that's what
I'm not going to pause for 2 years. The battle is now. I'm offended by whoever these people are that they're trying to buy me out of.
Well, you should be honored.
But I'm offended that there's people back there who just don't give about our country.
Do you understand though? You should be honored. That means they know how powerful you are.
Well, I can tell them
if
that.
If you weren't powerful, they wouldn't want to have this conversation.
Yeah.
Right? You should be. Very few people get this.
I know. I'm pissed that they don't care more about our country. It's all about the mighty dollar to them, and that's offensive.
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
They want to get Trump so bad. They want him out so bad.
Trump. This isn't about Trump. It's about you. It's not about Trump.
It's
about you. Some people on this.
Listen, I can win. Why don't you go back and tell them that I can win, and why don't they get behind me?
I see these things through a different lens. It's very personal to you. This was you. It was your name on the ballot, and I get that. And it's a very personal thing.
Well, I have a appointment coming up, and I have to work on my book.
Yeah.
I'm not good. I appreciate their concern.
Just to say,
I can be bought.
not be bought.
That's what it's about.
You can take a pause for a couple of years.
No.
And then go right back to what you're doing.
No. 10 million, 20 million, 30, no. A billion, no. This is not about money. This is about our country. I think it's disturbing that they would even, that anybody would think this is...
No, to be fair, even me, I'll say this. I want fresh face right now. For the reason that I've never seen anyone, I can't think of a single person in a federal race who's lost, ran in and won. I can't think of it. If you can think of it, let me know.
I am not going to let these people who hate our country tell me not to run. You should call them and tell them to get behind me. I can win, and they should get behind me.
I will happily say those words.
Yeah.
Do you think my words will carry any weight? No.
Okay, well, did you think you would come in here and that I would be bought?
It's not being bought.
Yes, it is.
I think.
It is being bought. No. They are trying to buy me out of running. It's actually, I mean, all right, I'm flattered. I'm offended. I'm offended for our country. We have people like this who live here.
What I think is this. It can give you an incredible opportunity to have a bigger voice to fight for stuff.
Hey, hold on a second. Let's pause that. Can we pause that for a minute?
You know what I mean?
He said,
I don't want to deal with people like this. These people.
He said, what I'm offering you here, what I am offering you here. Okay, go back to it. I want people to understand that. Go back to it.
Are un-American, and I think they're unethical, and I would be absolutely immoral if I did that.
Again,
that's immoral. I couldn't look at myself in the mirror if
it's very powerful people that are willing to. They really want someone different. They want new names, whatever it is.
So they want Jim Lehman. That's a new name.
No, actually, that's not even. That's a possibility. But they're even asking me like.
I know they've got all these new names, and I'm going to beat each and every one of them. Sorry, Jeff. Take it back. Take it back to them.
Oh,
I gotta get working.
I know you
I
do.
love you, but I gotta get working.
All right. I appreciate it.
I'm just can't believe this.
Hey, again, be honored. Instead of them just look. Instead of just them working to beat you, they're trying to
This is about getting Trump out.
Nah,
Yeah, it is.
Trump never came out once.
Well, it's about DeSantis, getting DeSantis in. Getting DeSantis is getting Trump out.
You're reading too deep into it.
Well, let's see what happens. Maybe my case will go through. Maybe they'll do the right thing.
I hope so.
I do too. That's my first goal. But they can't have me in the governor's office because then we're going to root out some of this corruption.
But again, it's like
You know what it is? The people don't get to choose their elected officials unless they're pre-approved by the swamp. And the swamp doesn't pre-approve of me.
you need a strong party to help.
I think you should go public with this and then say, hey,
No.
these people don't want to, they don't want,
And then I turn my key in my car and I go. I like my car.
Tell them I'm not flattered. I'm offended that
Don't
they,
tell anybody we had this conversation.
I'm offended that they don't care about our country more.
I actually wish you'd just give me a counter offer this big. Give me a counter.
I can't be bought.
Come on.
I can't.
All right, I'll see you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Yeah, what do you do? I mean, think about what we just heard. Think about it. Think about the amount, the sheer amount of corruption you just heard. And that wasn't the full clip, was it? Was that the full clip?
Sounds about right.
Yeah, that was full clip.
Let me just point out a few things that were said. One, the cartels are in all 50 states. If I say anything about this, I'm going to turn my car and boom. What does that tell you about what we have institutionally in our country? Look, this Gideon 300 is a real thing. Apollo, I got to ask you this question. How many times did people come to my house with guns when I first came forward about Dominion and Eric Coomer?
Probably 5, 6
Three?
that I'm positive of, and several more that I didn't see them, so I don't know if they had guns.
I'm glad you didn't tell me it was 5 or 6 or 7. I want to go with the 3. Whew. David, this is a big problem because what he just said is what is happening. How the cheese is made. These are weak people, by the way. This little Jeff DeWitt is a weak little piece of shit. I'm going to call him what he is, right? And he better pray I'm never sitting in the same room with him. He better pray for his own safety. He better pray he is not sitting in the same room with me. To realize that he admitted that the election was stolen. He admitted it, and they're going to try and steal it again. And we're sitting here talking about mail-in ballots and the machines. We're providing proof of all of this, and it's mountains high. And you got judges that are standing and saying we're not going to do anything about it. And David, I got to tell you, this Gideon 300 of having 300 people, it shouldn't be the Gideon 300. It should be the Gideon 90%. It should be people in the community on both sides of the aisle that stand up and say, you know what? We literally are going to show up with torches and pitchforks. And we're going to take our country back. I mean, this literally institutionally tells you what is happening.
Yeah. Well, I think part of it, there's a great clip of Peter Bernegger in Wisconsin disclosing the same kind of pay-to-play tactics where you've got the consultant class. So, for instance, Megan Wolf, who was supposed to be impeached for her complicitness in the rigged elections, Robin Voss blocked it. And you start finding out that Robin Voss, Reince Priebus, all these people that are higher ups within the the party, for them it's all about how much money they get, how much of a cut from what's raised, and that's consistent with what Jeff DeWitt just put out there. It's all about money. How much money can we get? It's not about results. It's not about really winning. It's about making sure that a steady stream of hundreds of thousands of dollars reaches the same pockets. And I haven't heard from. Have we heard from Ronna McDaniel? I mean, calling for Jeff DeWitt's resignation. Have we heard from other
No.
people? So right now, what we need to see is who's silent. There's been a handful of people like Wendy Rogers, Mike Lee, a few politicians that are saying resign immediately. But every single person within the RNC, every single state chairperson should be saying resign. And if they haven't, that's the tip off that they're doing the same thing in their respective states to grease the skids for selections. So, yeah, it's absolutely pervasive, Joe.
Okay, so we're going around the country. We got people like Jovan Pulitzer who are out there talking nonsense about it's the paper, it's not the machines. Don't worry about it. It's okay. Everything's good. I mean, this is a problem. These people are professional liars. They stand in the way, and I'm just going to call it right now. David Jose, look, David, I'm okay with the fact of that you have a non-conforming, you serve up affidavits. But if they're willing to steal elections and blow up cars and put people to death, you think they give a crap about a piece of paper? You think that piece of paper is going to say, oh, I woke up one day and yep, you're right. I'm going to stop being evil. Captain Evil is going to go away for a minute. That's just not the way it works. That's not how it happens. These people are literally, they're dishonest about everything in their lives. And all they care about is the mighty dollar and power. That's it. And so you think that all this stuff is going to make a difference? But no, they're leading people off of cliffs and making them pay money to grift them and say, here, walk all these affidavits in there. That gives you power. There's no power in anything that does not require you to sweat. So let's call it what it is. If you're not willing to sweat, if you're not willing to stand up, if you're not willing to go out and get your friends and your neighbors and everyone else to stand with you after listening to Jeff DeWitt, then I got to tell you, you have to ask yourself the question, are you honoring your faith to God? Are you honoring your commitment to your children? Are you honoring your commitment to your country? Are you willing to do the hard work? Are you willing to give up your fortune, your reputation, your sacred honor? Are you willing to put that all on the line? And if the answer is no, at least you're being honest.
Yeah.
But to think that you can actually do something with a guy like David Jose and all these other radical idiots, and look, I don't care, but I'm going to continue to speak truth. And the truth is that you and I have been all over this country. We have provided evidence and we have never asked for credit for anything.
Yep. Well, one of the things that's ironic is that the whole point of the affidavits is to point out maladministration. Well, guess what? We're part of the expert class, if you will, that have pointed out the deviations from day one, Joe. And so it's like there's such a thankless thing. Like you can't even point out with precision how the system's been subverted to even serve the affidavits unless you first can defend your position on how the system's been subverted. And, whether they want to admit it or not, it's the Jeff Lembergs of the world. It's the Joe Altmans of the world. It's the Aaron Clements of the world. It's the Jeff O'Donnells of the world. It's the Drazza Smiths of the world, where we have explained and broken down this system to its components to even allow them to serve people on what they think is wrong with the system in the first place. So that's the other thing. And then you hit it right on the head. I've been saying this since day one, since the first conversation I had with David Jose was, what's the mechanism of force? When someone laughs in your face after you serve them with your affidavit. And just so people know, I'm not against right thinking, right articulation, telling people about their lawlessness and directing people back to a more constitutional framework. But Joe, what you put out there on Twitter nails it. It's not like these people treat their affidavits like it's a Harry Potter spell. Like if they do the right words, all of a sudden the tyrant is absolutely, helpless because you got served with a piece of paper with the right magic words. And when you're confronting with evil, that's not how it works. They'll put you in the ground before they listen to your magic words. And so that's been the cautionary tale. It's been used as kind of like the snake oil method, that if you just do it and do it my way and use these magic words, you're going to get quote unquote results. It's like, no. Where you get results is through courage, people in your community, and actually, as you say, being about this, not just talking about it, not writing your affidavits and having your little, constitutional sovereign citizen work parties, but actually showing up and getting in front of people and saying no more.
Yeah, I know and frankly, I'm past it. I'm all about it. I'm like, bring the smoke, bring the smoke, bring all the smoke, bring it all. I'd rather die on my feet than live on my knees. And the only time I want to get on my knees is when I'm praising the Lord, when I'm literally serving Jesus. I do not want to be on. And everybody's like, Joe, you bring this intensity, and you're always ready to fight. Where did that come from? Why do you care? Why can't you just take your money and take everything else and just fade off into the just go do your thing? It doesn't affect you. The amount of times that people have said that is unbelievable. And Apollo will tell you, David, you're not around the office. Apollo, go ahead and tell everyone how intense I am on a regular basis in the office about winning, about doing what's right. We lost Apollo.
No, I'm good. I just had to switch over. Joe is dialed
Oh.
up to like 11 on a daily basis because he's like, why are we not winning more? And then it's who he is. And it's, he's a team leader. He talks about being a coach and he takes that super seriously.
He'll open the fridge and say, where's the special cream with sugar that makes coffee better? I can't believe this. He's clearing out the fridge. He's like that on everything. There's a commitment to excellence from Joe. And no, we see it, Joe. And part of this is just not being like, I feel like we have, in some ways, we've allowed for this siren call of BS for people to say, if you just get the right lawsuit, if you just use the magic affidavits, all your problems will be solved. And what Joe and I have been doing, if people really want to know what the Gideon Project's all about, it's about getting back in touch with your faith to carry the cross. It's a gospel evangelistic message that you're willing to give up everything, but do so in a strategic place to expose tyrants. But there is no plan that does not carry with it risk. In fact, let me say it another way. If your plan allows you to safely serve affidavits thinking you're going to get results, it's no plan at all. And so the mark of people that are affected in this movement are the people that are getting sued, being canceled, having accounts frozen. Sound familiar? Sounds like our daily walk, Joe.
Yeah, no, it is our daily walk. And it's okay. Like, I'm okay with that daily walk. I'm actually okay with everything somebody brings up on me. I'm good with it. I'm good. I'm good with all the pain. I'm good with all of it, right? I don't enjoy it, but I'm good with it. And I'm not trying to get people to get to that place where they go, oh yeah, Joe just wants to, he's mad because I won't make a choice and I won't get the gap and I won't, go get my friends and family. I'm not saying that at all. The choice has to be made. Do you stand in the gap or don't you? And when you see this Jeff DeWitt deal, how do you look at that and not say, look, he just described the entire swamp? He basically said that nobody gets elected to any position or selected for any office, not even for Republicans or Democrats. They get to choose the candidate. They get to choose. And it's no wonder you see someone like Marjorie Taylor Greene that takes her foot off the gas when it comes to J6ers, or Lauren Boebert, who's sitting in the office when they're doing the Mesa County image. She's sitting in the office. She's literally sitting in the office and saying you're doing a great job, and then literally goes silent and then disavows everything that happened with Tina Peters while giving credit to the DA in Mesa County, knowing how the sausage is made. And yet she has no courage, none, because she is bought and paid for. And they just go through and do whatever they want in order to create this institutional slavery for us as Americans. And so, I look at it a little differently than everybody else does. Look, I've lived a great life. I've lived an absolutely great life, and many people have. But you have to make a choice. At some point, you have to make it a choice on whether or not you're willing to stand shoulder to shoulder, have unlikely alliances, and do the right thing. And if you're not, that's okay. The choice is three places. One, you can stand with the tyrants. Two, you can stand in the gap in a place of interposition between those doing harm and those that to be harmed. Or you can just stand on the side that we're protecting. It's okay for you to stand over there, but admit it to yourself. Admit it to yourself that that's where you want to stand, because you don't have the courage, you don't have the emotional fortitude that you're willing to give up everything in order to protect those that you love.
Yep. So a couple things. People of Arizona, you should be burning up the phone lines and the email of the state GOP demanding resignation of Jeff DeWitt. Do you one better? Find out when the next meeting is that he's there and show up and
Forget the
demand his
meeting. Surround this dude's house. Surround his house. Not violently. Surround his house. Set the rules. Anybody gets out of line and does anything bad, you put them on their back. Okay, you don't let anybody actually be the infiltrators like you had on J6, but you go and surround the guy's house. You surround it. You make it impossible for him to be able to breathe. And you say, you know what? You better come clean. Who are these people that wanted to pay Kerry Lake 20 million, 30 million, 40 million? Who are they? Who are they? You make sure he literally has no peace, that there is no way that he can even breathe. And then you
Yep.
make him come forward.
Well, it depends on how you see Jeff DeWitt. So if people think that, again, Joe's, saying something that's really, really controversial, if he is a law-abiding citizen, I agree, it's controversial. But if he's a cartel bagman, a guy that's basically delivering the bribe, and you see him for what he is, makes sense. Why in the world is that guy leading your party in Arizona? He is a bagman for bribery, and you need to treat him that way. Yeah.
But he's running the Arizona GOP. What does that tell you about Ronna McDaniel? What does it tell you about the people in power? Right? And you want to call me a liar for coming forward on the Dominion stuff? You wouldn't even have Dominion if it wasn't for me. No one would even be looking at the machines had I not come forward about Eric Coomer. And you just so happen to get in the machines, and all of a sudden you figure out that they're corrupt, right? And now you want to you either accept the liars for what they are and say, look, I'm willing to be a slave, or you don't. But I mean, if it's controversial to go stand out and protest in front of his house while these radical leftists sit in front of Kavanaugh and everyone else's house, I can't help you. I can't help you. But at some point, you
Yep.
got to make a decision.
Yeah, I think what we've seen here is just a lot of people dying on the altar of civility, and it's because they refuse to see people for who they are and what they are. And the hour is late, folks. You're not going to get another redo. This is it. This is the year that we get our election system back, or it's the year that we get the final nail in the coffin for the country. And if people aren't going to have that requisite intensity, then yeah.
Do you want? And David, I got to tell you, the question is very simple. Do you love the Lord? Do you serve Jesus or do you serve the devil? Because there is only